I want to give each of you the opportunity to offer a sort of a takeaway, potentially in terms of a food for thought or even a recommendation. So whether it's something that you came in with front of mind, something you heard each other talking about today, or something that you saw in the poll results, what do you have? What are you looking forward to in your own must-see priority list as we head forward? And Fran, I'm going to start with you on this one.
Great. Well, I think there's a lot of topics that were hit today that we could do deep dives on. But I think probably one of the biggest takeaways was really the visibility and importance of these platform concepts that we're talking about, right? There's some tools out there already, as were mentioned, but there needs to be more guidance on this and actually how do they go about doing it going forward. So it seems to be a high area of interest, and so hopefully we'll hear a lot more about that in the coming year.
Got it. Barr, looking forward, what are you looking at?
So yeah, I'd say two things. One is the kind of how do you leverage a standards-based approach more robustly, which kind of goes with I think Fran was speaking about too. And particularly in the pre-market space, how do you really minimize the need for product-specific review and data development and maximize platform thinking and efficiencies? And I think that would be enabled by more case study kind of analysis, perhaps developed in the first instance by industry, if regulators aren't moving fast enough on that, to kind of clarify some of the issues and try to get some comfort around what would be acceptable. And then just going back briefly to the post-market, to the manufacturing side, I really do think there's a huge opportunity there to try to get more efficiency in terms of regulators working with each other and having third parties support them as they do for devices already to some extent, to reduce the burden on regulators and industry to make sure manufacturing is being done properly, because it's an overwhelming problem for regulators right now, even for FDA, which is by far the biggest and best staff, and it's a struggle for them. So more to come on that, but I think that's a big issue for industry to try to help with as well.
Good. And Rumi, center of the look forward on the horizon for you?
Yeah, I mean, looking back at our conversations, I'm hoping a continued course towards having combination front and center and incorporated in, guidances coming out of the agency. Less combination product specific guidances and more, here's a guidance about drug development. Here's how we're going to incorporate combination product considerations here. So whether that's through the post-approval changes for combination products to bring clarity there, or even in the ICH guidelines that are coming out so that it is holistically incorporated into pharmaceuticals' own development practices. I think that is very critical for the ultimate success of these programs, and is really going to be the way that we get these products to market. And kind of tying back to the other discussion about, well, we have ISO standards, and I think ISO standards play a critical role in establishing, aligning on what are the technical testing expectations for some of these product categories. But we need to think forward to what about a product that doesn't fit into those ISO scope and definitions, right? When we're looking at the novel combination product space. And we also have to acknowledge they don't necessarily answer the regulatory question. And that's where ICH, or we'll see, maybe IMD-REF guideline documents are able to address combination products and fill those gaps